What if I told you that you could completely destroy your enemy, without ever laying a finger on them? No physical confrontation, no verbal altercation, just pure mental strategy. Sounds impossible, right? But the ancient Stoics knew exactly how to do this. They believed in a power far greater than brute force, the power of the mind, wisdom, and emotional control. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 Stoic principles that will teach you how to dismantle your enemies, whether it's a toxic coworker, a manipulative friend, or anyone who's working against you, without ever having to fight back. Instead of reacting with anger or vengeance, the Stoics had a much more subtle, but far more effective approach to winning battles of the mind and spirit. If you've ever felt like someone was trying to bring you down, or if you've struggled with how to deal with those who undermine you, then these timeless Stoic strategies could change everything. So, stick around, because this video will give you the tools you need to conquer your enemies without a single punch thrown. Let's dive in. 1. Master your emotions. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the powerful concept of mastering one's emotions. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot always control external events or the behavior of others, we always have control over how we react. When confronted by an enemy, especially one who seeks to provoke you, your emotional response is your battleground. Rather than succumbing to anger, frustration, or fear, the Stoic approach urges you to maintain control over your emotional state, effectively disarming the power your enemy seeks to exert over you. Enemies, whether in the form of adversaries, rivals, or toxic individuals, often aim to provoke emotional reactions to weaken you or gain the upper hand. They may insult you, criticize you, or create situations designed to elicit an emotional response. When you lose control of your emotions, you give them exactly what they want: power over your state of mind, your decisions, and ultimately, your peace. However, Stoicism teaches that maintaining emotional composure in these moments is not only a sign of strength but also a tactical advantage. Responding with anger or emotional outbursts only fuels the fire and gives your enemy the satisfaction of seeing you lose control. Instead, the Stoic approach encourages you to respond with calmness, logic, and self-discipline. Practical application. Practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Stay in tune with your emotions by regularly checking in with yourself. When you feel provoked, pause, take a breath, and assess the situation before reacting. Respond to insults or provocations with calmness and logic. When someone tries to bait you, resist the urge to react impulsively. Instead, respond rationally, perhaps even with humor or indifference. By refusing to be emotionally manipulated, you take away their power. Remember that anger only gives your enemy power over you. Anger and frustration might feel justified in the moment, but these emotions give your enemy an advantage. By remaining calm, you demonstrate emotional resilience and strength that undermines their efforts. Marcus Aurelius famously stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This quote encapsulates the Stoic mindset. Your mind is the only thing you can control, and it is through mastering your emotional response that you can truly disarm your enemy. By staying composed, you not only avoid falling into their traps but also showcase an inner strength that is difficult to shake. The more you practice emotional mastery, the more invincible you become, not because you defeat others, but because you cannot be defeated by them. 2. Rise above insults. One of the most powerful ways to disarm an enemy without engaging in conflict is to rise above insults. The Stoics believe that insults only have power if you allow them to affect you. When someone tries to harm you with words, their success hinges entirely on your emotional response. If you react with anger, self-doubt, or frustration, you give them exactly what they want: control over your emotions. On the other hand, if you respond with calmness, indifference, or even humor, you take away their power and neutralize their attempts to offend. The key to rising above insults is recognizing that insults are not a reflection of who you are, but of the person delivering them. When someone insults you, it says more about their character and state of mind than it does about your worth. By reframing the insult this way, you can prevent it from negatively affecting you. Instead of internalizing their words, remind yourself that their attempt to degrade you is an expression of their own insecurities, frustrations, or lack of wisdom. Practical application. Reframe insults as a reflection of the other person's character, not yours. Understand that an insult reveals more about the person making it than about you. Their words may be rooted in their own issues, and by not taking them personally, you disempower the insult. Use silence or a witty remark to neutralize their attempt to offend. Sometimes, the best response to an insult is no response at all. Silence can speak volumes, showing that their words don't affect you. Alternatively, a quick, witty remark can deflect the insult with humor and poise. Focus on your virtues and values, which cannot be diminished by words. Remind yourself of your own strengths and principles. The opinions or insults of others cannot touch the core of who you are. By focusing on your own virtues, you fortify your sense of self-worth and become impervious to external attacks. Epictetus wisely advised, if you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. Be satisfied if your conscience approves. By focusing on what truly matters, your own integrity, values, and self-awareness, you stop relying on others' opinions for validation. This way, insults lose their power, and you maintain your peace of mind. 3. Kill them with kindness. In a world where people often expect retaliation or anger, the Stoic practice of responding to hostility with kindness is an unexpectedly powerful tool. Kindness is a weapon that enemies are rarely prepared for, and by treating them with respect and empathy, you not only disarm their aggression but also challenge their assumptions about how you will respond. Instead of feeding into the cycle of conflict, kindness can turn an adversarial situation into an opportunity for personal growth, understanding, and even resolution. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." In Stoicism, kindness is not about weakness or submission, it is about strength, integrity, and taking the moral high ground. By extending an olive branch in the face of hostility, you neutralize the conflict and potentially shift the dynamic entirely. Your kindness may not only disarm your enemy but could even create the possibility for a change in their behavior, turning a foe into a friend, or at least reducing the tension between you. Practical application. Offer genuine help or understanding to your enemy. Instead of responding to hostility with more hostility, take the opportunity to help or offer a gesture of goodwill. This could be as simple as providing support, showing empathy, or offering a listening ear. Your willingness to help can diffuse their anger and surprise them, making it more difficult for them to continue the conflict. Avoid gossiping or speaking ill of them, even in private. In moments of frustration, it's tempting to vent about your enemies to others. However, Stoicism teaches us to avoid degrading others, even when they have wronged us. By maintaining respect for others, regardless of their behavior, you preserve your own integrity and stay true to your values. Extend an olive branch where possible, turning conflict into collaboration. Look for opportunities to resolve the conflict through cooperation rather than opposition. If there's a chance to work together for a common goal or to find common ground, seize it. This not only demonstrates your maturity and wisdom but also opens the door for positive outcomes where others might have expected a prolonged struggle. In a world where people often escalate conflicts with anger and resentment, kindness has the power to change the narrative. It forces your enemy to confront their own behavior and reconsider their approach. And even if they don't change, your kindness ensures that you have remained true to your own values and that you have emerged from the situation with your integrity intact. This practice of killing them with kindness isn't about being passive. It's about wielding the moral high ground and showing that you are unshaken by petty hostility. By doing so, you create an example of dignity and strength that stands above the petty squabbles around you. 4. Focus on your own excellence. One of the most powerful ways to diminish an enemy without confrontation is to focus relentlessly on your own personal growth and excellence. The Stoics understood that true strength lies in self-mastery and the cultivation of virtue, not in engaging with petty rivalries or sinking to the level of those who seek to undermine you. When you dedicate yourself to becoming the best version of yourself, your enemies lose their power over you. Their attempts to provoke or derail you become insignificant because you're too focused on your own path to be distracted by their negativity. By pursuing excellence in your work, your relationships, and your character, you not only improve yourself but also create a stark contrast to those who seek to bring you down. Your progress becomes a silent response to their actions. When someone tries to insult or undermine you, your achievements, integrity, and dedication speak louder than any argument or provocation. You become an embodiment of the qualities they cannot touch: patience, perseverance, resilience, and wisdom. Practical application. Set clear goals and work diligently to achieve them. Don't let your attention be diverted by your enemies. Focus on your personal and professional growth by setting specific, meaningful goals, and work tirelessly toward them. This will help you build momentum in your life, leaving little room for distractions or negative energy. Cultivate virtues such as patience, humility, and resilience. Practice patience with yourself and others, humility in your successes, and resilience in the face of adversity. These virtues will help you build a solid foundation of character that no insult or criticism can shake. Let your achievements speak louder than any argument. When your excellence becomes undeniable, your enemies' attempts to diminish you will be rendered irrelevant. Instead of wasting energy arguing with them, let your results and actions do the talking. Marcus Aurelius perfectly captured this idea when he wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." When you focus on embodying the qualities you value most, rather than engaging in negative conflict, you rise above the fray. Your commitment to personal growth is a victory in itself, and it demonstrates that you cannot be deterred by the petty actions of others. In a world full of distractions, remaining focused on your own excellence is one of the most powerful ways to destroy your enemies without engaging them directly. 5. Use strategic ignorance. Not every enemy or conflict deserves your time or energy. Sometimes, the most effective strategy is to simply ignore them. This doesn't mean being passive or weak, but rather choosing to conserve your energy for battles that are truly worth fighting. By refusing to engage with someone who is trying to provoke or undermine you, you deny them the satisfaction they seek, whether that satisfaction is attention, emotional response, or a sense of victory. Stoicism teaches that not all challenges require action. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, emphasized that it's not the events themselves that affect us, but how we choose to respond to them. In the case of enemies, many are simply seeking validation or a reaction from you. By refusing to give them that, you take away their power and deny them the ability to disrupt your peace. Practical application. Choose your battles wisely, focusing only on what truly matters. Not every insult, criticism, or negative interaction is worth your time. Take a step back and ask yourself, is this worth engaging with? If the answer is no, then ignore it. Focus on issues and relationships that truly deserve your attention and energy. Let trivial provocations pass without response. Small insults or provocations often don't need a response. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a deep breath and let the moment pass. This is a powerful display of emotional control and mental fortitude, showing that you are not easily shaken. Recognize that some enemies thrive on attention. Don't feed their energy. Enemies who thrive on creating drama or conflict are often seeking attention and validation. By refusing to engage with them, you deprive them of the fuel they need to continue their behavior. Ignoring them is one of the most effective ways to disrupt their attempts to engage you in negative energy. As Epictetus famously taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The key to using strategic ignorance is to recognize that you have the power to choose your response. By choosing not to respond at all, you remain in control of your emotional state and deny your enemies the satisfaction of seeing you react. In doing so, you not only maintain your peace but also demonstrate a level of wisdom and maturity that renders their attacks insignificant. Ultimately, ignoring your enemies is not about avoiding confrontation out of fear, but about conserving your energy for what truly matters, while simultaneously depriving them of the power to control your emotional state. 7. Turn adversity into strength. One of the most empowering Stoic principles is the ability to turn adversity into strength. When faced with challenges, especially from an enemy, a Stoic doesn't see these obstacles as setbacks but as opportunities for growth. Rather than feeling defeated or victimized by an enemy's actions, Stoicism encourages you to embrace the difficulties they present. Every challenge, every difficulty, and every moment of adversity is a chance to develop resilience, sharpen your mind, and strengthen your character. Enemies, through their attempts to harm or provoke, often create challenges that can push you beyond your limits. Rather than succumbing to frustration, anger, or despair, Stoics use these obstacles as stepping stones on the path to becoming a better version of themselves. The key is in reframing these experiences as opportunities for growth. By responding to adversity with composure and purpose, you show that the enemy's attempts have no power to break you, and instead, you use them to improve yourself. Practical application. View obstacles as stepping stones to success. Every challenge presents an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation, and use this insight to improve. Reflect on how challenges have shaped your character. Look back at difficult situations you've faced in the past. How did they make you stronger? Use this perspective to fuel your growth in the present moment. Practice gratitude for the lessons learned from conflict. Instead of feeling resentful toward your enemies, thank them for the lessons they have provided. These lessons have the power to transform you into a stronger, wiser individual. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The challenges that seem to impede your progress are actually opportunities that push you to advance, improve, and thrive. 8. Outlast them with patience. Patience is a potent weapon in the Stoic arsenal. Enemies often seek to provoke immediate reactions, expecting to get a rise out of you, but patience allows you to rise above this. By adopting a long-term perspective and enduring with steadfastness, you not only avoid reacting in haste but also allow time to expose the true nature of the situation or the flaws in your enemy's approach. In many cases, enemies rely on your emotional reactions to maintain control over the situation. By practicing patience, you disarm them and demonstrate that you are unshaken by their efforts. In a world where people often rush to judgment or quick retaliation, patience is a strategic tool that allows you to outlast your enemies. While they may try to provoke you or force you into a corner, your ability to remain calm, composed, and patient gives you an immense advantage. Over time, their hostility may fade, and their true intentions may be revealed. Patience is not about passivity, it is about waiting for the right moment to act with wisdom and clarity. Practical application. Practice delayed gratification and long-term thinking. Rather than reacting impulsively, take a step back and think about the long-term impact of your actions. Avoid short-term satisfaction at the cost of your larger goals. Allow time to reveal the truth or expose their flaws. Often, time has a way of revealing the true nature of situations and people. By waiting patiently, you give the situation time to unfold, which can work in your favor. Avoid rash decisions. Act only when the time is right. Rash decisions made out of anger or frustration can have long-lasting negative consequences. By staying patient and waiting for the right moment, you ensure that your actions are both measured and effective. Epictetus' advice, "No great thing is created suddenly," underscores the value of patience in the face of adversity. True victory is achieved through steady perseverance, not through hasty reactions. 9. Transform enemies into allies. The ultimate Stoic victory is not just overcoming an enemy but transforming that enemy into an ally. While this may not always be possible, Stoicism encourages you to see the potential for reconciliation and growth in even the most hostile relationships. By seeking common ground, showing genuine curiosity about the other person's perspective, and demonstrating that you are not a threat but a potential ally, you can sometimes neutralize hostility and create space for collaboration. Enemies often arise from misunderstandings, differing perspectives, or conflict of interest. Stoics believe that by approaching others with empathy and seeking mutual understanding, you can potentially turn adversaries into collaborators. Even if this doesn't always result in a direct alliance, the effort to build bridges shows a level of maturity, wisdom, and emotional control that reflects true Stoic strength. Practical application. Seek common ground or shared interests. Even with an enemy, you may share certain goals or interests. Look for areas of agreement and build on them as a foundation for better communication and understanding. Show genuine curiosity about their perspective. Try to understand why your enemy holds the views or behaves the way they do. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but by empathizing with their perspective, you may reduce the tension and open the door to cooperation. Demonstrate that you are not a threat, but a potential ally. By demonstrating your goodwill and openness, you may disarm the enemy's hostility and show that you are not someone to be feared or opposed. Seneca observed, "He who is a friend to himself is a friend to all." By cultivating self-awareness and practicing empathy, you open the possibility of transforming enemies into allies, turning conflict into collaboration. 10. Live a life of virtue. The most powerful way to defeat an enemy without fighting is to live a life of virtue. Stoics believe that when you are guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, no enemy can truly harm you. When you live by these principles, you become immune to the tactics of others because you are rooted in something far more enduring and meaningful than temporary conflict or external validation. Living a virtuous life means that your actions are aligned with your core values, and no matter how others treat you, your sense of self-worth remains unshaken. Virtue becomes your armor, protecting you from the malice of others. And even in the face of hostility, your adherence to virtue sets you apart, showing that you are not easily swayed by negative emotions or adversarial actions. Practical application. Align your actions with Stoic principles. Strive to act with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance in every situation. Let these principles guide your decisions, regardless of how others treat you. Focus on what is within your control and let go of the rest. Recognize that you cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you respond. Focus on what you can change and leave the rest to the natural course of events. Remember that true victory lies in maintaining your character. No enemy can truly defeat you as long as you remain true to your own values. Victory is not in the defeat of others, but in maintaining integrity and virtue despite external challenges. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. The highest form of victory is not defeating your enemy, but living in such a way that their malice and hostility cannot affect your inner peace or sense of self. This powerful quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy in dealing with adversaries. In a world that often values retaliation and revenge, Marcus Aurelius offers a profoundly different perspective. Instead of focusing on vengeance or responding in kind to hostility, he suggests that the highest form of victory lies in our ability to rise above the negativity and remain true to our values. The real strength comes not from vanquishing those who oppose us, but from preserving our integrity and peace of mind in the face of their attacks. When someone wrongs us, there is a natural inclination to fight back, to seek justice, or even revenge. However, these reactions often bring more suffering, not only to the person on the receiving end of the retaliation but also to the one seeking revenge. Stoicism teaches that such responses are beneath us because they rob us of our inner tranquility. The Stoic way is to realize that external circumstances, including the harmful actions of others, are outside of our control. The only thing we truly control is how we respond. By choosing to remain virtuous, calm, and unaffected by the wrongdoings of others, we preserve our peace, demonstrating that their actions have no power over us. In this sense, we achieve victory not by defeating them but by remaining steadfast in our character. Conclusion. In Stoicism, the ultimate goal is not to defeat your enemies through confrontation but to transcend the need for confrontation altogether. Stoics believe that true victory comes from mastering ourselves, our thoughts, emotions, and reactions, not from overcoming others. This mindset turns conflict into an opportunity for growth, allowing us to transform every challenge into a tool for building resilience, wisdom, and virtue. By focusing on self-control, wisdom, and emotional mastery, you disarm your enemies without ever raising a hand. The Stoic approach teaches us that when we act with wisdom, kindness, and self-discipline, we render our enemies powerless. Their malice has no effect on us because we are not dependent on their actions for our happiness or sense of self-worth. The Stoic path to victory lies not in defeating others, but in elevating ourselves above the trivialities of conflict. It is about becoming the best version of who we are, not through the conquest of others, but through the continuous cultivation of inner peace, virtue, and wisdom.